case judge says, under the circumstances, the court can perceive no basis for allowing the above entitled action to proceed further. Glendora says, inter alia, this is hackneyed, trite, gossamer, of such little weight that gravity had nothing to grasp to stop its rise to the ethereal. It's left the earth. It is totally without legal basis. It is totally without factual basis. It is abuse of the judicial process, by the judicial process, and for the judicial process. It is not of America, by America, and for America. We are up to page 12 out of 36. It says, his Longstaff, this judge, moreover, nothing the court is able to glean, excuse me, I'm repeating it on purpose, from the plaintiff's submission, provide a basis for proceeding with the lawsuit in the Southern District of Iowa, and Glendora says, haste makes waste. He's making waste of the United States court system. And so therefore, Longstaff says, it is therefore ordered that the above entitled case be, and is hereby dismissed, dated June the 3rd, 2005. And now I'd like to have you see his signature. Ronald E. Longstaff, Chief Judge, United States District Court, Southern District of Iowa. Glendora says, therefore is non sequitur. Nothing in these 2 pages leads to a therefore. Premise fails and the argument falls. So we go on to above and beyond. The 2 pages by the ghostwriter, amanuensis, first job out of school law clerk, is double-spaced. It makes it very easy to read between the lines. And I'm sure you have already, folks. In her preliminary statement, Glendora made it clear that her $150, which is now $250, an unearned raise, was not to be squandered on sua sponte. This is what you call sua sponte. He dismissed it on his own motion. Sua sponte is like spontaneous combustion. You don't need a match to start it. And the match should have been the defendant's defense. He heard nothing from the defendants. He got an inadequate and improper letter from Spitzer's sidekick, Gardy. And Glendora said in her preliminary statement, if you don't give me justice, if you rob me of due process, if you do any of this sua sponte stuff, I want my money back. This $150 is now $250. Comes out of my Social Security. My Social Security didn't go up. It didn't go up $150 or $100. And you have a job to do. Glendora talking to Longstaff. Protect America. Enforce the statutes, the U.S. Constitution and the U.S. Code. You get $140,000 plus annually to achieve the same. Says Glendora, if Glendora does not receive relief from this so-called order, quote-unquote, of June 3rd, then she is entitled to her $250 returned to her plus 9% statutory interest since April Fool's Day, when the dollars were taken out of her amortized ambry. Even more abhorrent is Longstaff's total eclipse of Second Circuit stare decisis, as follows. Pro se, civil rights cases, actions cannot be dismissed until the plaintiff has the opportunity to prove what? That she cannot prove. Any facts in support of her claim that would entitle her to release. Did I have a chance to prove that, folks? No, I didn't. We didn't hear from defendants. We didn't have a hearing. We didn't have a trial. We didn't have discovery. He just baldly broke the law. Longstaff, Ronald E. Longstaff, the latest United States District Judge to hit the pits. The so-called order religiously quotes Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 8 for its purposes, and then sacrilegiously violated Rule 38, jury trial demanded. The case for relief from order, Rule 60B, virulently escalates. It was Title 18 Criminal Code, U.S. Code, Section 1001 cover-up for the so-called court to ignore pages 5 and 6 of Glendora's preliminary statement, which says, all defendants have been served this complaint pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 4D. See the last 6 pages affixed here too. This is a verified complaint under penalty of perjury. Glendora asseverates she is telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help her God. Defendants have not. And for this, they are being sued pursuant to Criminal Code 18 U.S. Code Section 1001. This is a Rule 8, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Notice Complaint. Glendora proffers the papers that exhibit the violations of each defendant. Defendants show no acumen covering up their tracks. This court has subject matter jurisdiction because of federal question and/or diversity of citizens. This court has venue because this is a civil rights action. A civil rights action can be brought in any federal court in the USA. Longstreet ignores all of this. Defendants are state actors. All are liable to Glendora under Title 42 U.S. Code Section 1983, Civil Rights. All, by Rule 12, are liable under 42 U.S. Code Section 1985, Conspiracy. By Rule 12, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, this court must accept Glendora's allegations as true. Remember, Glendora has a constitutional right to be pro se, and if you have a problem with that, actuate Title 28 U.S. Code, Section 144 and Section 355 for recoups. This action is a legal proceeding by which Glendora enforces and demands her rights in a court of justice. Now that was in the preliminary statement. Now going back to this instant case, Glendora says, and for $250, what did she get? The answer is the very antithesis. Relief from order must be granted. Order is a deliberate, knowing, willful, prejudged, premeditated, pre-planned obstruction of justice. Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1505. Now, where do Americans go when the judge doing the judging is worse than the defendants being judged? Say it back to me. Where do Americans go when the judge doing the judging is worse than the defendants being judged? See page 8, paragraph 14 of Glendora's preliminary statement. Let's quote the preliminary statement. Again, promiscuously, defendants violated Criminal Code 18 U.S. Code Section 1001. Glendora invokes 18 U.S. Code Section 1961 Executor Racketeer Influence Crime Organizations Act. That's the RICO. Racketeer Influence Crime Organizations Act. That's what these courts are. To provide this court with subject matter jurisdiction in conjunction with the complaints herein that cite criminal statutes, such as mail fraud, such as tampering with the records, and inter alia. No magistrate is to touch Glendora's action in any way without her consent in writing. This is the law. Title 28 U.S. Code, Section 636, and that was violated only twice. No clerks. Glendora has a constitutional right to an article-free judge. She insists that a United States judge read her complaint, decide her complaint, and sign every paper. That was violated violently by Longstreet. This complaint is to be adjudicated, decided, and determined, and pronounced judicially, and only judicially. Glendora will suffer no more of this synthetic, artificial, and addled hoop jumping by kid law clerks with acuminate heads Glendora is adamant they're wrong. This is their first job out of college. And they run the courts because of the judges are too lazy to do the work of an American. The controlling phrase in all venue laws, 28 U.S. Code section 1404 and up, is, quote, in the interest of justice. Was this order put out in the interest of justice? The answer is no. Congress said what it meant and meant what it said. And herein, Longstaff, cover up and line, and that's section 1001, Title 18. Paragraph 18 is reserved. Now going back to the instant complaint, Glendora says paragraph 19, page 10 was covered infra on the instant papers, pages 13, paragraph 20 through. Paragraph 20, page 10 of the preliminary statement was identically ignored and covered up in section 1001 fashion. 1001, Title 18 Criminal Code, remember, always is lying and covering up. This case has to be litigated by the plaintiff and the defendants, and you are not to act as their defense attorney. This judge acted as the defense attorney. They have to answer. If they don't, I get Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Default Judgment, Rule 55, and you are not to answer for them. And that's exactly what he did. Paragraph 21 continues Glendora's preliminary statement to this court. By common law, Glendora says, your job is simply to assure that that the rights of both sides are protected. And when you cease to do this, you have lost jurisdiction. And that's Title U.S. Code, that's Title 28 U.S. Code, Sections 144 and 354, recuse. In truth, if relief from the order is not granted, this court has lost jurisdiction, and the action must be brought again, an abominable prodigality of scant judicial resources. Further, the action qualifies to be brought again since there is no adjudication on the merits. Indeed, this court, quote unquote, heinously eschews the merits and the harm done the USA. In acting as defense counsel, I'm telling Longstaff, this federal judge in Des Moines, Iowa, for the defendants, this court, quote unquote, presents no meritorious defense. Hi there, folks. How you doing? We're continuing Glendora's motion for relief from order to United States District Judge Ronald E. Longstaff in the United States District Court in Des Moines. Further, says Glendora, the action qualifies to be brought again since there is no adjudication upon the merits. Indeed, this court heinously eschews the merits and the harm done the United States of America. In acting as defense counsel for the defendants, this court, presents no meritorious defense. The court is in error, and the court has abused discretion. It is as if this court, quote unquote, took an oath not to support the United States Constitution and the statutes, but to support big business, the business corporations, and the adhesive ball of accomplice judges who do us wrong. This court, quote unquote, proved Glendora wrong on the last paragraph of her preliminary statement. Glendora said, talking to the judge, even with the multiple layers of self-interest and the scars taken by your soul to get this job, You can intercept that this is right for America. Well, he didn't do it, so he proved me wrong. Now, could you believe there is further argument to grant Glendora relief from order pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 60B? Well, indeed there is, reader. Court totally ignored plaintiff's Rule 55 motion for judgment by default. Can you believe that? Nowhere herein does the court earn its $250 adjudication fee. Further, the motion has not been denied or granted. So what does that mean, folks? It means it's pending. And if it's pending, the case is not over. Docket states that the motion for default came after the case was closed. Glendora questions the honesty thereof. The dilemma is that the only other way out is just as dissolute. A judge dismisses the case after a no-standing letter from the other side without waiting for the plaintiff's answer to the same. Is this hearing on both sides? No receipt. Glendora is entitled to a receipt for the rip-off $250, the last $100. Just to make certain, Glendora is saying that she moves for either her $250 to be returned to her or for the relief from order, dated June 3rd, 2005. We're up to page 28 out of 36. Further, she can wait 30 days to see if she is notified by the defendants of proof of entry. If they don't enter it in 30 days, the order is a nullity. So we can wait for that. The June 3rd order, quote, is woefully inadequate and is a fraud and a scam masquerading as a U.S. federal court. This is to Ronald Lee Longstaff, U.S. District Court, Des Moines. Glendora's papers are handwritten to preserve the reality of the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. This is July 4th that this is being written, which this paper memorializes this very day. Both were handwritten. Federal judges have tried surreptitiously to turn the constitutional courts, the courts of equity, the common law courts, into courts of a uniform commercial code. This is commercial. Glendora wants her $250 Federal Reserve notes back. Silver certificates would be more meaningful. Now, this epiphany herein has a vision of federal judges, one with God, indivisible, knowing the set of talents given them different from everybody else's. Focus on the job that God has created each of them to do that nobody else can do as well as they can do it. And see Glendora on the David Letterman Show, program number 4000, www.achatwithglendora.com. Glendora states that to David Letterman. And this vision, these judges squeaky clean from anything nasty, ugly, profligate, reprobate, abandoned, and loving more America than themselves. Now here comes a real therefore. Therefore, wherefore, and ergo. Arrived the inflated that Longstaff order of June 3rd be rescinded and Glendora be awarded all relief sought in her perfectly pleaded complaint of April Fool's Day, 2005. Anno Domini. Together with the cost of this motion and any further relief just and proper, dated July 1st, 2005, 3 days to Independence Day, State of New York, yours and true, and in Amor Patriae, Glendora, without prejudice, Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1, 207. A chat with Glendora on 45 TV stations, 450 municipalities, including Washington, D.C., and on the internet at www.achatwithglendora.com. Your estimated internet show number, Judge Moss staff, is 4113-6, 6th edition, to be posted circa 3 weeks. This is Opus 1892. Last year at June, it was Opus 1,600 something. So it means about 150 legal papers were done in the past 12 months. It took 15 hours to write this, print it, post it, and everything else, and it cost $15.05. To print, post, and travel at $2.30 a gallon. The service list you already know. It was shown to you at the beginning of the previous program, the envelopes, and we include here the expose that a lawyer is not licensed by the state. A doctor is licensed by the state. A barber is licensed by the state, but not a lawyer. All a lawyer has is a bar card, and all that is a card from a trade union called the American Bar Association. These lawyers who become judges are not licensed by the state. And the final page says, stop. Stop. Judge self-interest that blocks the populace from getting justice. Folks, we have some other matters to take up with you. Here are some happy books going out. A picture, very appropriate for today. BCAT. You are limiting and prohibiting public access. Now you know fully well that Jackie Rickman has handed you in the right address. And you know fully well that you're insulting her by saying she's lying and requiring proof. And she sent you proof, which is her pension plan. And she sent you her address labels. That's proof. But you want her to send a utility bill. So you're saying to her, I don't believe you. You're lying. And let me tell you this, if it ever comes to court, you have not performed due diligence. It is up to you to prove that that's not her address. And all you have to do is go down and knock on her doorway at 295 Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn, and she'll answer the door, and you have proof. And besides, her daughter is on the police force in Brooklyn. Her daughter is a sergeant. I want to show you. By the way, if you want a happy book, call for a free Glendora Happy Book. Call for a free Glendora Happy Book. Here's a happy book that came back. Emily. 210 Danbury Street or something, Melville, New York. Stephen Shea is retiring from the Public Service Commission. That is a good thing. Not that whoever replaces him will be any better, but Stephen has spent a career of being anti-public and pro-cable TV operator. They all are that way. He's a child of their nonfeasance and malfeasance. He's a child of that. They all take an oath to support the big, big corporations and rob the little persons, the public access producers. The most recent abomination by Stephen Shea and the Public Service Commission, headed by Flynn, is lottery. They're letting Cablevision run a lottery, a game of chance, which is a felony. That's you, Stephen Shea, and the Public Service Commission. That's your latest horror. You are letting Cablevision, Nassau County, run a lottery, and you're not doing anything about it. Because, you want to know why? I want to talk to you about Wappingers. Henry was kind enough to go get my tapes. I asked my funeral director to go get them. And days went by, and she didn't. And so then I asked Henry, a former United States Marine, to go get them. And he got them in a day. So folks, when you want something done, you call the United States Marines. You don't call funeral directors. And a man at Wappingers on Old Route 9 and up around Fishkill and Poughkeepsie and Hopewell Junction, all those places, told Henry that in the contract, these tapes, if they weren't picked up, they would be destroyed. Oh, you ever criminals, Cablevision. Ever criminals. What contract? They're talking about an alphonsus that's signed between my signer and Cablevision. It's not signed with me. And whose tapes are they? Do they belong to Cablevision? No. Do they belong to my signer? No. And if Cablevision swipes my tapes, that's a larceny. That's a larceny. Just go ahead and do it, Cablevision. And you'll get sued for, I don't know whether it's a misdemeanor or whether it's a felony, but you will get sued criminally if you don't give me back my tapes. And I did this in the city court of Rye. And you were made to bring back 53 of them. So Henry picked up 98 tapes. And throughout all this, I do thank Roger Connor, who showed a great deal of kindness and a Christian effort. Richard Wolfley, I have a question for you. How many people watched A Chat with Glendora on the internet in the month of June? And how many shows did they watch? And how many times did they watch? You gave me that statistic for February. It was 600 people tuned in 800 times and watched 3,000 shows in the month of February. Could you give me that statistic, please? Statistic for June. We got to keep this show the good news show. There's too much bad news on television. We got to make Chat with Glendora the good news show. Henry told me that a man named Bannister, who used to be an IRS agent for a long time, 9 years, and then somebody challenged him. What is your statutory authority to collect income tax? And this IRS agent named Bannister couldn't find any. And he asked his supervisor to find statutory authority to collect income tax. And his supervisor had to admit that he couldn't find any law that entitled the Internal Revenue Service to collect income tax. So Bannister quit the IRS. And then he started a consulting business. And he told people they didn't have to pay an income tax. And he told his own employees, you don't have to file income tax. And so he was arrested. And there was a trial. And just last week, Bannister was acquitted. He was right. You don't have to pay income tax. There's no legal basis for it. For one thing, only 3 states ratified it. It never became a law. They just went ahead and did it anyway. Henry is sending up a further article on that. We're going to start the Folsom Family TV show. I'm a Folsom. Glendora, Vesta, Folsom. The robber said to the teacher, don't make a noise or you'll be geography. And she said, don't you mean history? And he said, don't change the subject. Now, Bonnie Sutherland had a kitty cat that lived until she was 21 years old. This kitty cat lived until she was 21 years old. In the last few days, Bonnie could see that the kitty was getting weaker and weaker. And when she went to work, the kitty wanted to go out. But Bonnie knew what would happen, as the kitty would go somewhere and die, and she'd never know. So when she came home at night, are you listening to this story.com, Cat? When she came home at night, there was a kitty lying on her bed, and she had died and passed peaceably. Isn't that sad? But one thing about it is that the kitty 3 days before had killed a chipmunk. Here's a darling kitty cat. I wanted to show you these pictures of Benny. This is Jackie Rickman's dog, in memory of Shadow, who lived until she was 17, and whom I loved. And Shadow died almost a year ago. But here is Benny. Benny lives in Brooklyn. And he's just 8 or 9 weeks old. He's a little beagle. The wind and the sun do not cooperate. And here's Benny having his bath. And Benny was born in Oneonta, New York. He loves to chew shoes. And anything. They do, you know. A friend of mine had a puppy, and the puppy got her partial plate and chewed it into bits. So this is Jackie Rickman's little Benny. And Jackie has a bird that's 20 years old. It was a very special bird. And it was out in California. And she saw the bird out there, and the bird took a liking to her husband. And so Jackie asked to buy the bird and have the bird sent to New York, to Brooklyn. And Jackie paid $50 for the cage and $50 for the fare. And the bird came to Brooklyn 20 years ago. The bird's still going nicely. And took a great liking to her husband. And the day her husband died, the bird stopped talking. He stopped talking. And now he likes Jackie's daughter, who is a sergeant in the Brooklyn police force. Isn't that something? The bird lived 20 years. We gotta make this a good news show. And here's bad news. Omnibus 26, Glendora versus the David Rockefeller Bank. The complaint, you were there with me when I filed it, and it was filed in the federal court in Rhode Island. They sent back a great big complaint and other various notes to the clerk, but they didn't send back the $250. And they said, you can't file a complaint unless you send us $250. I did send you $250, and you lost it. And I have pictures of the money orders. There were 3 money orders. One for $100, another for $100, and another for $50. But I couldn't get the money all together all at once. Because the court filing fee in federal court, it was outrageous enough at $150, and now they put it up to $250. An unearned increase. They never did anything to earn it. And you can't talk to these people. And I should reproduce for you their attitude over the phone. Mr. McCabe hung up, and Farrell wouldn't listen to me. And she wouldn't tell me the name of the person who opens the mail, the person who lost the money, or maybe stole it. I think more probably what happened, it went in a flat rate, 9 by 12, priority envelope. And the complaint was in there, and the civil cover sheet, and the notice of service on all of the defendants, and an envelope, number 10 envelope, business envelope, that said, filing fee, do not lose the way the Nebraska court did and the North Carolina court did. That's just the 3rd court that's lost the filing fee. Now, is it too much to expect of a clerk to open an envelope and not lose The contents, particularly the contents of money of $250, is that asking a whole lot? No, it isn't. This is the incompetence of the federal court in Rhode Island. So, she says, well, write a letter. Write a letter? They'd lose that too. They're not competent enough to handle $250 in a complaint. Then write that too. So, they'll lose that too. And I said, no, I won't write a letter. I'm just going to sue you. So what I will do, I will write a letter, but what will be to the post office in St. Louis, where money orders are handled. Any accidents with money orders are handled. And I will say the incompetent court, federal court in Providence, Rhode Island, either lost or stole these money orders, of which I send you a copy. I have a copy of them. And Chris was right there, and we very carefully made note that we put those 3 money orders in that envelope, and then we put them in the priority envelope. And Mike, the postal clerk, he was there and he saw it. But when I can get up the money, I'll try to get up another $250, and I'll send the postal money orders to St. Louis. And in the past, what they did was to just send me another money order for $250, which I could go to the post office and cash. And then in Omnibus 27, which has to start being written this week, I'll sue them. I'll sue Farrell, I'll sue McKay, I'll sue the chief judge, his name is Torres, and I'll sue the anonymous clerk who opens the mail. In the maternity ward, a nurse came out with a darling baby in her arms, and she said to the new father, "What'd you want, a boy or a girl?" He says, "I wanted a girl." She says, "This is a boy." He said, "Okay, that was my second choice." Did you hear about the minister who's so religious that even his contact lenses are stained glass? And Bob says his wife has a new spending program, exercise program. It's called aerobic spending. And a housewife was asked, "What do you like best about Christmas?" And she says, "What I like best is seeing the kids hang up their stockings on the mantle over the fireplace. A year goes by before they hang up anything else." And remember that today's Christmas presents are tomorrow's garage sales. And little Terry, who's only 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, when he wrote out his letter to Santa Claus, he made Xerox copies for his grandparents and aunts and uncles. A young minister gave a stirring sermon on gossip, how you shouldn't gossip, and he closed the service with, "I love to tell the story." That's a great hymn. I love to tell the story. No, that's not right. I love to tell the story of unseen things above, of Jesus and his glory, of Jesus and his love. I love to tell the story because I know it's true. It satisfies my longings as nothing else can do. I love to tell the story. 'Twill be my theme in glory, the old story of Jesus and his love. Sunday school teacher said to the little boy, "Cleanliness is next to what?" And he said, "Impossible." And Lot was told to take his wife and flee out of the city. And if she returned, she would be turned into a pillar of salt. And the little girl said, "What happened to the flee?" Lot was told to take his wife and flee out of the city. And when the snakes came off of the ark, Noah said, "Go forth and multiply." And the snakes said, "No, we're adders." And the MC at the banquet was disappointed that the priest, Father Adieu, A-D-I-E-U, was unable to appear. So he closed the night with, "Without any farther ado, good night." And Charles Dolan said to James Dolan, as Mason said to Dixon, "We have to draw the line somewhere." And the speaker at the banquet said, "I've used up all of my allotted time except these last 2 minutes, so I'm going to save those for the applause." If you liked tonight's show, tell all your friends. If you didn't, keep it our little secret. July is here. Oh, summer's here. We got all summer in front of us. It's so much better in front of us than behind us. Menu. Fade. Mosaic. And off. Eat vegetarian. Eat salubriously. Vegetarian meal for today is macaroni, marinara sauce, and Loma Linda Swiss steak. A vegetarian steak. Let me show you the label. Loma Linda was bought by Worthington Foods. It's made with soybeans. Here's a note of thank you to Henry Williams. He went over to Wappingers and he picked up 98 tapes. I asked my funeral director to do it about 5 or 6 times, and it never happened. But when Henry did it, when Henry was asked, he did it. So you always send the U.S. Marines. Henry was a U.S. Marine. Passenger, standing on the platform at Grand Central. Conductor, this train goes to Buffalo in 10 minutes. Little old lady, wonderful. Last time it took 8 hours. Bachelor, Goes into a furniture store. I want to buy a mattress. Do you want a spring mattress? No, I want one I can sleep on all year round. Boy, studying ancient history. Dad, what's a Grecian urn? Dad, about $8 an hour. What's the longest word in the English language? Smiles. Between the first letter and the last letter is a mile. What's the opposite of cock-a-doodle-doo? Cock-a-doodle-doo. And the Boy Scout troop learning to mountain climb. And the scoutmaster says, the next thing we're going to climb is that steep cliff up there. And the little kid began to shiver and shake. He says, do people fall off of that cliff very often? And the scoutmaster says, no, once is usually enough. What did the hypochondriac put on his tombstone? See, I told you I was sick. Ad in the newspaper, for sale, umbrella by lady with 2 cracked ribs. Student to the college professor. Is it difficult to become a professor? Professor, no, you do it by degrees. The owner of the store to an employee. I saw you arguing with a customer. In this store, the policy of this store is the customer is always right. Do not argue with a customer. Yes, sir. What were you arguing about? He said you were an idiot. This is Glendora, a cheerful look at life. 2 minutes of goodwill, good cheer, and good humor brought to you by. Now, the pastor's sermon was very, very good about the people seeking all these things through these so-called reality shows. Folks, pray for them. That's not where it is. All of the things they're seeking, it's not there. There's only one way that they'll get all those things that they are seeking. What are they seeking? Wealth, a new home, a great big new home, prestige, power. Where is it? It's all in your oneness with God. Now, how do you get one with God? Let's go over the list again. When you're walking around the house doing things with your hands, then you count pure thoughts. Like 1, this is a magnificent universe. Or 2, pray for so-and-so. Pray for the Cacciola family. Peace and happiness. Joan Claus this morning says, oh, that's a frequent one. That happens. Mother leaves a will to the son. Daughter gets it changed. Son sues the daughter. And they're off in court Monday, February 7th. Pray for the whole Cacciola family, all of the family. Pray for the judge, Anthony Scarpino. Pray for all the lawyers, John Vogt, and all the others. Pray for all of the lawyers and pray for the court. Happy, whole, and healthy. It's not there. Bible reading. James. First book of James. Well, I guess there's only one book, isn't there? Okay, first chapter, verses 19 to 27. Therefore lay aside all filthiness and wickedness. Be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. What do you think of that? Nice. How do you do it? Through counting your pure thoughts and through rejoicing every 15 minutes about something. I rejoice about this sun. This is the 11th day of sun. But be doers of the word and not hearers only. Hey, that's all right. That's all right. You're hearing the word, do it. Don't deceive yourself. The perfect law of liberty. That's really true when you feel liberty, is when you do that, when you turn around and face God and be one with God. That's when you really feel liberty. Pure and undefiled before God. That's nice. And what are you to do? Visit orphans and the widows. I'm a widow in their trouble, but I don't think I have any trouble. To keep oneself unspotted from the world. Ah, that's nice. So translated, what is that? Do you need an interpreter? You tell me what it is. Unspotted from the world. Stop the world. You want to get off. And you have to spend your time alone with God. And you have to have your little book and write in your little book. What are you going to write? Oh, write down your blessings, write down what's bad, write down your names of your enemies, write down the names of your friends, write down the people you want to pray for. Sing a hymn. Praying to me is, a lot of it is just rejoicing and being appreciative and enjoying it. Enjoying it, folks. I told Cacciolo, you're a young man, your life is passing by, and this is consuming you. That's all you think about. You want answers, you want answers, you want answers. And 5 years from now, he's going to ask himself, why didn't I enjoy the year 2005? Why wasn't I happy every minute? I'll give you a list of the people I'm praying for if you want to hear it. This is black ink on gray paper. The Christian work ethic and compassion for the poor. The work ethic and compassion for the poor. Yeah, do your work. There's more blessed to give than receive. No question about it. No question about it. And that's where the reality shows are all upside down. The happiness is not in receiving. As much as I love Bob Barker, because he loves animals and he's good to animals. He and Doris Day, the two of the Hollywood people who are so kind to animals. Anyway, as much as I love Bob Barker, the joy isn't in receiving. The joy is in giving. And let's see. The balance between a strong work ethic and a generous spirit. Isn't that nice? Oh, who is this? This is Our Daily Bread. This is a devotional that's put out by RBC Ministries, whatever that stands for, something about Radio Broadcast, something, from Grand Rapids, Michigan. They've been around for years. And they're good. They're good. They don't go quite far enough. They don't seem to get a hold of that oneness thing. You know, you're close to God, and just a closer walk with Thee. Grant it, if you please. Daily walking close to Thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. Yeah, that's close. But that's not it. It's the oneness. The oneness. They almost get up to there. Oh, pray for them. Take that next step. The next step and the final step. I had a hymn to sing you, and I probably won't sing it very well. Love divine, all love's excelling into every troubled heart. Let us all in Thee inherit, let us find the promised rest. Take away the love of sinning, Alpha and Omega be. Pray and praise God without ceasing, glory in the perfect love. You gonna help me pray for these people? It's a long list. The most recent one is Kathy Giannetti in Norwalk, Connecticut. She was a signer for my show on Cablevision in Norwalk. And I've been calling her several times. And I never get her, I just get a recorder. But on the recorder I say, Kathy, will you watch the show Friday night at 10:30 p.m. on Channel 77. That's Norwalk, Greenwich, Stamford, Darien, where David Letterman lives, and those places, Wilton and Easton, I guess. All right, so I called her, I think it was a couple of days ago, and I said, Kathy, did you see the show? And she says, yes, and I don't like it. And then she hung up. I think it's fine that she didn't like the show, but she shouldn't run away and hang up. You know, she doesn't like the show, then she should offer to help me. Make it likable for her. And she shouldn't run away and be scared. I mean, that's unfortunate. So let's pray for Kathy Giannetti, that she be happy, whole, and healthy. Let's pray for Esther, Rudy, and her daughter, and her granddaughter, and Shlomo, that they be happy, whole, and healthy. Jim Cahagan has an awfully hard time breathing. There's something with his lungs, and this weather is bad. Yesterday's weather is bad for it. The summer is bad for it. It's terrible. It's asthma. Asthma developed, I guess, into a bad thing. Ralph Arnold Folsom Jr., Pat McDermott, George McDermott, Mary Moore, her husband, the two children. Please pray for them. Joan Annabella, Houston Claus. Pray for John Totter, Cablevision, Charles Dolan, James Dolan, Judil, Thomas Garga, Charles Former, Peggy Anderson, Miles Rich, John Sherwood, Christine Savarino, Cecilia Masterilli. Pray for these judges, Clavert, Flom, Pearsall, Norgal. Pray for Clerk Aniello, 7th Circuit, Chicago. Pray for all of my neighbors, Lisa and Tim, and Caesar Dog, and Jessica, and Jonathan, and Charles, and Margie, and Kelly, and John. Pray for Mrs. Whitco, and for Carol, and for the Kilsers, Mary, Tom, Monica, Laura, Elizabeth, John and Jane Dean. Pray for Mr. Gresta. Pray that the pain in Daniel's back go away. Oh, pray for Anthony Russo, who was shot in the back 5 times by the police. Police should never shoot anybody in the back. They shouldn't shoot anybody anyhow. There's other solutions. The one we've been talking about. Pray for all of the police, the people in the store who called the police. Pray for the doctors in the hospital. Pray for the court where this is happening. Pray for Louis Conway, his son, and his son's mother. Pray for Natalia, the landlord, her mother, her sister Lydia, her brother, her father. Pray for James Kleinborn. Pray for George Dixon and Joanne Dixon. Pray for the Chatham police. Pray for Kim. I'm going to report to you more about Kim in Greene County, Pennsylvania, how her land was stolen from her, and how she was a victim of predatory lending, $90,000 for 87 and a half acres of land, how her double-wide mobile home was vandalized and taken from her and auctioned off. And I think I know who's at the bottom of all this. Pray for the county commissioners and the judges. And she had a bankruptcy case where her Chapter 7 was dissolved, and her land was exempt, and her double wide was exempt, and the courts rode right over that, and I think I know who was paying them, and the coal company paid her $100 to do a bore on her land, and they found considerable coal on her land. So, what do you say, folks? Who's behind it? Who's behind the robbery of her land and her double-wide trailer? And when it was auctioned, who got the double-wide trailer? The coal company. Comfort Coal, Console Coal, whatever it is. So I think we're going to do a bore of our own into that case. The county commissioners and the judges and the coal company. We're going to do a bore. B-O-R-E. Pray for Paul Foley, and pray for Linda Francis Foley Osborne, and pray for Fred Michael Osborne, and pray for Mary. And what are we going to pray? Again, happy, whole, and healthy, one with God, and all the present blessings continue. I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk. Let me walk with thee. Wonderful month. We're at the Seventh Day Center in Livingston. There's a nursing home and a retirement home and houses and all kinds of things. And the health food store is here. And we just brought $48 worth of vegetarian food for the kitty cat, for our vegetarian cat. And now we'll go back to Hudson and we'll get lost, trying to find Route 9 winding through Hudson. The ad in the newspaper said, "Crystal vase for sale by lady, slightly cracked." Well, 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 what does this show you folks? Things aren't so bad. It's not 4 degrees below zero. And it's not just 10 degrees or 20 degrees above. Brothers and sisters squirrels. They're all from one litter. Last spring. Eating their peanuts. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God. Born of the Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day. .com doesn't make a dent. You're looking at him through the crack under the door.com. Okay, it's going to be a nice day. Guess what's scheduled today? Tidy the house. Bring the 5 logs up to date. Exercise the body. Fast until 4 p.m. I'm going to try to do that every day. And get rid of this flab. The end of the month. Add up the columns for the end of the month. And then the end of the year. How much was spent, how much came in since 1937 through 2004. And then work on Omnibus 25, Glendora versus John Tata, again, this time for the lottery, a game of chance, and a violation of first come, first serve. And reminder that a notice of entry was served on Natalia, Preferred Country Properties, Brat's sister Lydia, mother, brother Carlos and father, James Kleinborn, Joan Dixon, and George C. Dixon. And a judicial misconduct and disability complaint against Lawrence L. Pearsall, United States District Court, District of South Dakota. Cute. Then after that, the praying for Tuesday. We got a long list of people we're praying for. And then after that, the titler. You think you can get out through that crack under the door.com? The titler. The first 2 programs, 8 programs went to the internet yesterday. The cost was $80. And then, to go through all of the to-do lists and those new details that came in while working so hard on these other things. And Richard Heinhorn says he's coming through to see me on Sunday after picking up Brett at school in Glens Falls. And we're going to make a 2-hour tape for Berkshire Cable TV and for Charter Chatham Cable TV. And then we're going to have 12 hours alone and empty, doing nothing. Oh yes, and we have to order a case of Wham for .com. That'll be $36. That's vegetarian ham. Fast until 4 o'clock. And yesterday, Glennie drove 45 miles, spent $48, and took 4 hours to get .com some other vegetarian food I should have shown you before it was put away. But we have Leanie's. Leanie's is the best hot dog there is. That's the best vegetarian hot dog there is. Ad in the newspaper. For sale. Crystal vase by Lady. Slightly cracked. Conductor to the lady on the platform. This train goes to Buffalo in 10 minutes. She says, wonderful. Last time it took 8 hours. Now the priest said to the little boy, if you found $20, would you keep it? Oh no, sir. Good little boy. I'd spend it. Bachelor goes into the store and he says, I want a spring mattress. No, he said, I want a mattress. That's right. And the clerk says, a spring mattress? And he says, no, one that I can sleep on all the year round. Boy studying ancient history. Daddy, what's a Grecian urn? Daddy, about $9 an hour. What's the longest word in the English language? Smiles. Between the first letter and the last letter is 1 mile. What's the opposite of a cock-a-doodle-doo? A cock-a-doodle-don't. Scoutmaster teaching the boys mountain climbing. You see that great big cliff up there? That's the next cliff that we're going to climb. Said a little boy. Do people fall off of that cliff very often? Do people fall off of that cliff very often? Scoutmaster, no, once is usually enough. And what was on the hypochondriac's grave? See, I told you I was sick. For sale, umbrella by Lady with 2 broken ribs. Student, is it difficult, sir, to become a professor? Professor, nah, you do it by degrees. The owner of the store said to a new employee, I saw you arguing with a customer. The policy of this store, strictly, is the customer is always right. Now, I never want to see you argue with a customer again. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Well, what were you arguing about? He said, you're an idiot. This is Glendora, cheerful look at life. 2 minutes of good cheer, goodwill, and good... Groundhog Day. I'm glad we honor the groundhog. And how would you like to go for a nice sunny ride on the 14th consecutive day of sunshine? Let's go up and see Caesar Dog and give him some cookies. Lisa's going to take me to Walmart tomorrow, up in Albany. Oh, East Greenbush. Now let's find Caesar Dog. Why does he do that? Look at him, what he's doing. Why do you do that, Caesar Dog? Why aren't you jumping all over the place, huh? Because Glenny come and see you, huh? Why aren't you? Caesar, you're a funny little dog. Yeah, you funny little dog, Caesar. What you going to do, bury it? You going to bury it, Caesar? Well, let's go over here then and hide them. Come on, let's go over here and hide them under your porch. Here, come on. We don't see your tail wagging, Caesar. Aren't they good? I'd like to have them, but I'm fasting until 4 o'clock, Caesar. This is my 3rd day of fasting until 4 o'clock. Caesar, I don't see how we can get to under your porch. So I'll put them right here for you. Vanilla sandwiches. This fasting until 4 p.m. is really working. And of course, I don't eat any animal products or any dairy products or any honey or anything like that. And no bread. I cut out bread. Bread is over with. I eat rye crisp instead. Right, Caesar? Well, I think they're gone, and you didn't even wag your tail. I asked Lisa if you could go shopping with us tomorrow, and she won't let you go. She doesn't want to get her new red car dirty. I said, well, you can go in my car. She says, no, we can't take you. Bye, Caesar. Bye. Bye, Caesar. Are you Augustus Caesar? Julius Caesar? Octavius Caesar? Let's go. Bye-bye. Now, I videotaped for you the whole story about the appellate term, Supreme Court, State of New York, 9th and 10th Judicial Districts. Remember the great big paper we sent to them? It was 600 pages. It took 70 hours, and it cost $170. And we submitted it the last Monday of the year. Well, they got it in time and all that, but guess what? They dismissed it. Want to know why? Because I served it on Charles Dolan and Cablevision. State court is at least 2 decades behind federal court. In federal court, they encourage the pro se to do the service. Now, isn't that awful? To dismiss a work like that? Isn't that awful? Isn't that an ambush? Isn't that an ambush? I'm going to leave my, tell my neighbor, Mary, about this Swiss steak. This vegetarian Swiss steak, a good source of fiber. Yes, it is, and it's delicious. .com doesn't like it very much. I sort of do, though. So let me go put this in her mailbox. I'll be right back. So the clerk down there was a big help to me, and I appreciate. It's a good line. The famous Albany, New York folklore. Hello.
Brian, have a call on line 2. Brian, line 2. All right, yeah.
Very good. How are you?
Good. You got your form?
Oh, I'm in great form. I'm dieting. I'm dieting.
And the veggie thing again.
Yeah.
I ate those Boca burgers.
Yes. They're pretty good, but they're so far inferior to the Morningstar Farms that you could get
Yes.
those burgers.
Okay, it's Jim Gamby.
Okay, thanks.
Just one moment, Jim. I'm going to transcript the poll. That's where he is, okay? Paula. Okay, Jim will be on when I hang up. Okay, sorry. Doing two things at once.
What was I telling you?
About the Boca
Try to
burgers.
try to get Morningstar Farms, and if you can, get the original griller.
The original griller.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's going to be hard to get them. Oh, thank you for other
There you go, ma'am. Would you like the bag?
Yes, please.
There you go.
Let's see now. These were cable casts, were they?
Oh, the smears.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah.
Let me see. Right on the piece of paper. How's that?
Oh, thank you. Isn't that awful? They smear. Why do they make them that way?
David Letterman show?
Yeah. See Glendora on the David Letterman show.
You're on the David Letterman show?
Yeah, that's great. You got to see it. I got to do something about.
Okay. Not to interrupt you. I
Yeah.
don't know what I erased.
All right. 4,000.
4,000.
See, that's a big 4,000 show.
Oh, okay.
And then
3996.
dash what?
I can't read that part.
All right. Thank you for doing this. 3996 dash. Leave that blank, and we can build it up. We've got 3995 dash 2. So therefore, it's 3996 dash 3,
Dash 3. Okay.
and therefore it's 399. We just got one more to go. I got it. 3994
4
dash 1.
dash 1.
I got them.
All right, look at that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And that's for February 1st, 05?
Today?
That's a mistake.
7.
Yeah.
That's a 7, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
This is 7.
Okay. Okay, you're all set?
Yeah, didn't I do a good job on that?
That's for every week. Nope, now it's gotta be every week. You've already been told.
Nope, you gotta change that.
Nope, can't do it.
That's a burden.
Can't do it.
Oh yeah, I can make it. So this, the owner of the store said to his new employee, I saw you arguing with a customer. And he said, the policy of this store is strictly, you never argue with a customer. The customer's always right. I never want to see you arguing with a customer again. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Well, what were you arguing about? He said you were an idiot.
I remember that. Have a good day.
You bet, you too. Hi, Mary.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, all right. Hello.
Hi, sweetie.
I love that hat.
Oh, do you?
That's wild.
If you only, really?
The feathers.
Yeah. If you only knew how old this hat is.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see, what was I going to tell you?
A joke, no
Oh,
doubt.
yeah, I was wondering which one. Oh, yeah, the student asked the professor, is it difficult to become a professor? And the professor says, no, you do it by degrees.
You always have a good one.
Oh, thanks, Bonnie. I'll see you.
day.
I'm going to Ghent. Does anybody want anything to Ghent? Take care.
You too.
Gee whiz, it must be up to 30. See, this entry opens his truck. I'm always opening when I don't want it open. Okay, so that's the story in the appellate term. Now, what else did I forget to tell you? Lake Electronics. Sony camcorder that they didn't fix. They just looked at and ran up a bill on that. I'm about ready to give them $100. Now I have to pay them $129 more. Oh, what a ripoff. I think Lake Electronics is pretty high. And I think they're rather avaricious. So that completes the consumer report on that. I want to thank Linda on that videotape also, which got erased or scrubbed or lost, was a report thanking Linda Close at Berkshire Telephone and Cable for educating us on wild turkeys. She sent us 2 pages that told a lot about these wild turkeys and how they nest close to the ground. How they nest on the ground, deep in the forest. And how the eggs are, there's usually 8 to 12 eggs. And the females weigh 18 pounds and the males weigh about 26. And that beard that hangs down from their throat, that's something that the males have. And the males turn red, white, and blue to catch the attention of the females. And when they nest, always one turkey acts as a sentinel, wide awake, a vigil. So that was very nice of Linda, and I thank her. And in the news, the Berkshire newsletter, Newsline they call it, was a paragraph how Linda Close takes dogs who become homeless and she gives them a foster home while she looks for a real home for them. And I think that's splendid. And she said she's got many new reports from people how pleased they are with the dog and how happy the dog is. So I think Linda Close deserves tremendous credit for that. I'm going to show you again the house of Mary Ann through these dirty windows of Mary Ann Clark and Catherine Clark, now condemned by the county. And when it was, they lost their star exemption, tax exemption. And Mary Ann died and Catherine died too. Catherine was buried October 5th and Mary Ann died a little bit around Christmas time. And that's where .com was rescued from, by Bob. First of all by Mary Ann, and when Mary Ann had to go to the nursing.com, put back into the woods. And then Bonnie rescued.com, and now Glennie rescued.com. I hope every kitty makes out that well. Okay, where were we on telling you the reports that got lost? I have to say to you that winter, and this has been quite a winter, it's been, I would say 2 weeks of 0 degrees and even below zero. Been very severe, but it has been 14 days, a fortnight of sunshine. Every day has been sunny, just like this one with that azure blue sky. Azure blue sky, A-Z-U-R-E. So I made up for the reports that were lost. Our Berkshire Cable is doing a good job cable casting a chat with Glendora. It was on Monday night for 2 hours. Chatham TV is okay, Charter TV. And the monitor over there is Gail Martin, and she does a great job. And she makes sure that she reports on that. So it's on 2 hours Friday night, starting at 9 p.m. The titler is coming along a little better, folks. I can't get it to store the pages, so I have to write the pages while it's being cablecast to you, or webcast to you. I have to write the pages. Make sure you get to see them because they can't be stored. Isn't this a big hill? And we got through all of the work. And when that happened, we had 12 hours alone and empty. me like they're completely frozen. Are they? Here, try a close-up. Well, folks, it was a valiant try at the museum. I should have taken a picture for you. The lock unlocked this time. Last time it wouldn't. It was very hard to get the door open. And snow had gone in under the door. 4 or 5 inches up against the cypress desk, the good, expensive cypress knee-hole desk. And it had gone in the other side, too. And it was a valiant try. 2 columns, went through 2 columns and lifted about 10 boxes, 30 pounds each, looking for the Yonkers renewals of the year 2002. And this is the 3rd column we've gone through. We cannot find them. And a scrutiny this morning of the index to the museum did not reveal them. Well, we found the lifetime sheets, 1937 to 2003. We picked at random a microcassette audio tape conversation to see how it's going to weather. The desk, there was ice on the desk. There were 5 or 6 pieces of ice. So that's 2 pieces of bad news. It's 1, it's leaking somewhere, and 2, it froze. We got out a Glendora Happy book to show you, both the plastic bound and the paper bound. We got out an 8mm, a chat with Glendora to see how it is weathering. Fingers got very, very cold. Had to stop a couple of times. The driveway was really plowed out, but the entrance to it was blocked by plowing of some other time. The poor 1980 Lincoln is dormant. And I guess that's a full report. And what did one ghost say to the other? That is Jane Smith and Daisy Maydog. One ghost said to the other, frankly, I don't believe in people. And that was my neighbor behind me, Timothy Smith. Hi there!
How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
I
Yeah, so it's all the same. So if one function goes, unfortunately, you know, you gotta.
Well, then I can always use my old Sony to record.
Yeah,
I
right.
just can't use it to play back.
Yeah, exactly.
This takes digital 8.
Yep. What's your other one? Is it also digital 8 or
No,
high 8 or just
no, high 8,
high 8? Yeah.
but not digital 8.
Yep.
What's your name?
Frank.
You're Frank.
Yes.
Well, Frank, you don't ever. Why did I think electronic?
I'm not sure. A lot of people think that just because, you know, we're an electronics store, but yeah, we sell refurbished stuff.
Do you have anything for sale?
Not anything like what you're looking for.
Old, no camcorders.
Not anything that's any.
Do you have any micro cassette recorders for sale?
No. No.
Can you tell us how to get to Circuit City, where we can find them?
Yeah.
To the mall, right across.
Yeah, you just go down. You know how to get there?
Yeah, I didn't know it was across Gate, not.
Yeah, it's actually not in Crossgates. Circuit City's not in Crossgates. It's in Crossgates Commons, which is near there, but you're not going to go that same way.
Oh, it's in the Commons now?
You know where that is?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Circuit City's in the Commons.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
Yeah. What's your name?
Frank.
You're Frank.
Yes.
Okay, Frank. Did you know computers are in the Bible?
Computers are in the Bible.
Eve said to Adam, "Do you want an apple too?"
I heard that too.
You heard it here.
I heard it from you.
All right.
Okay.
What did one ghost say to the other?
I have no idea.
Frankly, I don't believe in people.
You got them all.
Take care, Frank.
Take it easy.
Okay, we're near the capital of the Empire State, Albany, and my friend Lisa is being so kind to me and driving me around. We charged wanted to charge $260 to fix the old Sony and fix the old Panasonic now, and we did pay them $100. I guess we paid them $220. Now, it's a terrible society, folks. It's a throwaway society. Now, isn't that awful? More cheaply, we could have brought a brand new camcorder than to have Mary Ramage's old Panasonic fixed. And that whole Mary Ramage Panasonic, the great big camera and the little palmcorder, that whole thing has cost me $400. And I think it's one of the worst mistakes I ever made in my life. Don't try to fix an old camcorder. It's a terrible commentary. You have to just go buy a new one, like this one, which is so beautiful. Do you know that Franklin interviewed J.C. Penney himself? Very humble, modest man. Who? J.C. Penney or Franklin? Both of them. Isn't this something how these stores cater to our tastes? We can get anything we want.
No, Brad.
We're looking for Cabin Creek button-downs.
But there's so many states that don't
No
have it all
tax
the
this
time.
week.
I know.
No tax. Isn't that wonderful?
Thank you very much.
Come over. Lisa, there's no tax this week.
Oh, that's right. But you want to try it on, make sure they fit?
No. Isn't that awful, huh?
I know. I really do.
So it's discontinued. The button-down is discontinued. Well, thank you, Lisa. No, I don't think so. The button-down was one of the greatest designs ever come across. You know where it started? It started at Yale University. Well, thank you, Lisa. Sure. Camcorders right here? Lisa? I want the smallest microcassette recorder that I can find, not digital. Not digital.
Looks like
Let me see. I think this is the most expensive one. 35, 35.
yeah, for the
That's a Sony.
digital ones.
And these are, you have 3 Olympus, right?
Yeah.
And that's all you have for non-digital. Okay. Let me see. Does that take, oh, you see why that's big? See, it takes AA. This one takes AAA.
Yep.
And that's going to make it smaller. And this one takes AA too? Yep. Then that's decided. That's decided. These are very good, but they wear out fast, but they're very good. Okay, I'll take that. I want a list of all of your camcorders. Sony, only Sony.
Go right over camcorder.
Did you know computers are in the Bible?
No.
Eve said to Adam, do you want an apple too?
Find it?
Yeah, I got the microcassette recorder. I just want a catalog.
Do we have a catalog that lists all of our digital camcorders? No.
Okay, let me get a picture. Where's the Sonys? Can you folks give me a card with your telephone number on it so I can call you up and find out about these camcorders? This is a debit. This is a debit sale. I don't want it
I
charged.
wrote the number down for you.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
No problem. I'm actually going to have you go right over there to register 2 to bring this out. You want me to carry it over there for you?
No, yes, that's nice of you. But first of all, show me the Sonys, will you, quickly, so I can go home and study them. Is that a Sony?
No.
All right, show me the Sonys. This is a Sony?
Nope.
This is a
Sony.
This is
Sony and this is a Sony.
And is that all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get the info here.
One of them is the one you have.
Well, which one is the one I have? Right there?
Let me see the back of this.
It's 460.
Oh, never mind. I don't have the 460 anymore. That's yours. But these are lower than what you have.
These are lower, and those are the only 3 Sonys?
Yeah, we have some open box ones over there.
All right, let me go get those. And that's 219. And what model is this one right here?
260.
That's a 260, and how
Yep.
much? And that's at 250.
Yep.
9. And this one is a what?
328.
328.
It's open box. It would be this camera right here.
That's what open box means?
Yep.
Okay.
This is the Sony.
This is a Sony? And is that open box too?
Yep. This is also an open box Sony.
This is an open box Sony, and it's $429. Why is that one more expensive? What is it?
Micro MV. It's got a different, like, This is the handle right here. You hold it like this. And the zoom is right here.
And does it take a little tiny tape?
Yep, a little tiny.
How many minutes?
60.
60 minutes.
60 minutes on that one also.
And this is a micro MD too?
That's mini DV.
Mini DV. And what was this one?
Micro MV.
What's the difference? And this is one that has the CD disc?
Yep, this is a Hitachi. This is the Sony with the
Oh.
DVDs. Ports on DVDs.
Okay, and that's
It's DVD 201.
DVD 201. Thanks. And that's 669.
Yep.
And I've seen them all?
Nope. This is the 101, $6.99.
That is what?
This is brand new. You can get one of these brand new for $6.99.
And what is it? Is it a
DVD 101.
it's a DVD? Does that mean
Yep.
it's a disc?
Yep.
A CD disc?
Disc. Yep.
Oh yeah, because it's round on the side.
This
Okay.
is the 201. This is the same as that one over there, except you can get it brand new for $7.99.
Okay.
And
Is
this,
that an open box one?
nope. That one over there is open box.
Now what's this one?
This is brand new.
Brand new
This
box.
you would get new. And this you would get new.
Why is it $100 difference?
This one has a full megapixel, better picture resolution.
Better
This
picture.
one has a much bigger screen. See
You're
that?
so smart. And this is a
I
Sony.
went to the bathroom, Glendora. You find anything?
I'm all done. I'm going to go out the door. I'll wait for you. We're done, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so nice of you.
You want a pamphlet about camcorders?
Yes, I do. And will you put your name on there too, please, for me? So I'll call back. I know that I know you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And I'll go and we'll check this out.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got it, right?
Got it.
You've got it, okay.
I'll grab you up there.
I go over here, right? Hello. March? April? April? March? Michael McKee, tenants and neighbors, please take note. This is landlord-tenant litigation. This is Glendora versus Nasty Natalia, preferred country properties in Chatham, Columbia County, state of New York. This is litigation landlord-tenant, and this is going to the village of Chatham and to Judith K., and I do mean Judith K., I don't mean some flunky. This one goes to Natalia and Preferred Country Properties in Chatham. Avoid Preferred Country Properties. Do not do business with Preferred Country Properties. Pataki, Peekskill Pataki. Roberta Nicholson, National Association of Realtors. R with a rectangle around it, Clerk of the Court, Chatham Village. Jonathan Littman, Chief Administrative Judge that takes care of the courts in New York County. But then who takes care of the ones in Queens and Bronx and Richmond and Kings County? Ceresia, Third Department, Administrative Judge, I do nothing. Kleinbaum, Buyer for Hire, for Natalia, Preferred Country Properties. He lost 2 cases for her. Fumadora, who's the deputy Administrative judge takes care of the courts outside of New York City, I guess. Nyersbach, National Association of Realtors, R, Chicago. Jonathan D. Nichols, Supreme Court Justice, State of New York, County of Columbia. The appeals judge who ruled in favor of Glendora in both appeals. Mary Lou Kirsten, National Association of Realtors, Hudson, New York. A do-nothing Robert Tembechian, the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct, who defies your right to protect you from bad judges. What's the Scotch tape picks up the glare? And Terrence McDermott, the CEO or executive, whatever, president of the National Association of Realtors, and we have a lot to say about them. Let us now go to the core. Start drilling. Groundhog Day 2005. Appeals, Supreme Court, County of Columbia, State of New York, United States of America, Internet. No docket numbers in the appeals court. Chatham Village Court, 0403-121 and 0403-127. George C. Dixon. Preferred property versus Glendora, and Glendora versus preferred country property. Reminder memorandum this is. To preferred and declined bond that Glendora served on you notices of entry. Glendora won both appeals. Please take note that a notice of entry was served upon you September 16, 2004 and December 21st, 2004. The decision order for each was enclosed. The judgments were entered September 7th, 2004 and December 1st, 2004. The time for cross appeals has expired, dated February 2nd, 2005, Anno Domini, County of Columbia, State of New York. Yours in truth and in amor patriae, Glendora, without prejudice. Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1207. Glendora, Chatwick, Glendora on 45 TV stations and on the internet at www.chatwickglendora.com. Opus 1240, 3 hours, $10. And unpaid to Glendora, 780 hours at $300 an hour, and $3,184.23. Print, post, travel. Fees and disbursements, and $435 security deposit. That's Natalia. Service list was just shown to you. And this will cheer everybody up. And now we have this wacky letter from Roberta Nicholson, Executive Officer of National Association of Realtors, the chapter in Hudson. I am in receipt of your latest letter. Please note that we are, as per previous correspondence, the Columbia Green Board of Realtors has agreed not to proceed on your complaint. As per Council's instructions, I am writing to ask that you please cease from sending further correspondence regarding these issues. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Roberta Nicholson. Well, received by Glendora on Groundhog Day 2005. Memo endorsed by Glendora, Friday the 4th, February 2005. Now, every paper you have sent Glendora has been done. We have 239 elegant words, but your opacity is best expressed in the vernacular. Glendora sends you 30 pages of National Association of Realtors infractions by Natalia Preferred Country Properties. Right then, had you not been a fraud, you should